On today's episode of That Was Us, we are talking Season 1, Episode 10, Last Christmas. Kate comes down with appendicitis, Jack and Rebecca are unexpectedly reunited with an old friend, and Kevin celebrates Hanukkah with Sloan's family.
All right, guys, pop quiz for you. How healthy are your scalps?
Yours looks good, Chris.
It's all I got. It's the only hairdo I got.
It looks healthy to me.
Is my scalp. It's a little blown out from my younger days of sun damage, but now I'm taking care of it.
I try to moisturize.
So despite what you may see on TV, having healthy scalps isn't always easy, even for us. Those of us that have the knowledge and the resources. So thanks to Vegamore, I actually have thicker, fuller, shinier, longer hair without all of those harsh ingredients.
Oh, well, good for you.
You can too.
Let me tell you, that's where the magic of the little pink bottle comes in. Vegamore uses clean ingredients that actually work, y'all.
If you're ready to start your journey to healthier hair and scalp, Vegamore has got you covered. Check out their Grow Essentials Kit. It's packed with awesome products and helps you save money too.
Yeah, I've actually been a longtime fan and user of Vegamore, of their shampoo, conditioner. My goodness, their eyelash serum, their Grow serum helped in postpartum with postpartum hair shedding and hair loss.
How well did that Grow serum work?
Really well.
Really well?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to take it for a spin.
I'm going to go ahead and recommend it.
Boom.
Give your hair the power of the little pink bottle with Vegamore. For a limited time, That Was Us listeners get 20% off their first order by going to vegamore.com/TWU and use code TWU at checkout. That would be vegamor.com/TWU. Code TWU to save 20% on your first order. vegamor.com/TWU. Code TWU. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy holidays.
Back.
How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Glad to hear it.
Nice to see you, everybody.
Wonderful to see you, Amanda Moore. Always a pleasure, Christopher Sullivan.
Sterling K. Brown.
Thank you very much. We're talking about 110. I know you guys have some thoughts. Like, the first thought that I have is like the format of the show is we played around with the format a little bit.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, Dan likes to sort of just like, people think they know what the show is or whatnot, and he sort of like takes it a little way, which is really cool because this was a series of sort of one-act plays.
Yeah.
Where normally we cut in between the storylines of all the characters. We let each one sort of play out on its own.
All about death and dying.
All about death and dying, which is the Christmas. Isn't that the reason for the season?
Yeah, the Christmas spirit.
Well, yeah. It's the first episode that is a darker episode.
Yeah.
Not just topic-wise.
I would say second. For me, the first one was the discord in the marriage of Jack and Rebecca, where things were sort of like...
Oh, wow. Like episode 2, way back then?
I mean, it didn't feel dark.
3. This had a heaviness hanging over it, this episode, to me, that like...
But also stylistically.
Correct. The way it was shot, the way it was directed,
darker.
like, yeah.
It was darker, less music, like underneath things, like things sort of played out very bare bones.
Yeah. And for those who missed it in the credits, this episode was directed by Helen Hunt.
That's correct.
The one and
Helen
only.
Hunt.
Who, again, playing on the theme of my naivete during season 1, didn't know was directing the episode until I walked on set. Yeah. and well, I was worried about a lot of things that season, a lot of suits and anyways, I was like,
Keeping the job.
Helen Hunt, mad about you. You don't say.
Bum.
Yeah, I was very excited to see her on set. But the first thing she did, she came up to me because, directors, they're down to business. It's time to shoot. We got a day to make.
Yeah.
And
that's the first thing she did.
The first thing she did, she walked to me with an iPad just like this and goes, have you ever seen anyone have a heart attack? and I was like, she pulled up some YouTube videos to show me how people fall when they have heart attacks. And I was like, okay, I think I got it.
Which, can we just stop?
It's the very end of the episode.
I understand it's the end of the episode, but did this guy not give the best fall of all time? I mean, we were on set, and I remember in that moment, I was like, oh, he's going to hurt himself. Like, I was genuinely concerned, but watching the episode back, I was like, slow clap. That is
stunt
stunt
an
bump
impressive.
No, but in an episode of Death and Dying, then at the end, someone maybe dies. We're not sure.
Yes. This is true. So wait, let's
We'll go back to
hang
the
right
beginning.
there.
We'll go back to the beginning.
Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to Jack and Rebecca celebrating Christmas.
Yes.
Trying
To
to
Christmas.
celebrate doggone Christmas.
You got Jack. I remember Rebecca saying, like, do you think we overdid it? Did we get too much? Like, no, like I work hard and the kids deserve this sort of thing. And then Kate's like, I don't know, something's not right. I don't feel good. And you said something about the cookies.
The cookies. She got into the Christmas cookies for
Santa,
Santa
those
Claus.
were for Santa. Like, you get what you get.
Yeah.
The fellas are sort of, what are they doing?
They're fighting.
Just typical
presents.
Kevin Randall.
Housing. Yeah.
They've missed the meaning of Christmas.
Yes, and do you guys know what the meaning of Christmas is? And young Kevs is like, it's like some Jesus stuff or whatever. And you're
Some
like,
Jesus
we
stuff.
gotta go to church.
We're going to church.
Some Jesus
We're
stuff.
going to church.
Yeah.
But it turns out Jack comes over to his daughter, feels her head or whatever. She's warm or whatnot. He's like, babe, I think something's really going on. She's got appendicitis, right? Take her to the hospital.
Anybody ever had it?
No.
I have
You?
not.
Yeah, I've had it.
When did you
have
get
you
yours?
had
When I was
appendectomy?
19.
19?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a temp job at the DoubleTree Hotel in Sacramento, California.
Copy that.
I was
Best
doing
chocolate chip cookies.
best chocolate chip
Best
cookies.
chocolate chip. Oh, don't
do you
sleep
think-
on the DoubleTree chocolate chip cookies.
What do you think? They give you cookies at check-in.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if, but if
do
you,
they still do that?
oh yeah, but if you work there, you got access to
Unlimited.
that.
Unlimited
I'm not
cookies.
kidding. There's a cookie kitchen.
I believe it.
Now, if you guys
believe
want the
it.
behind the scenes, welcome to
good.
the DoubleTree Hotel rewatch podcast. Let me give you the behind the scenes. I don't want to brag, but Ani DeFranco did stay at our hotel that summer.
You 19.
And so I'm 19 and I'm doing clerical work because if I wasn't an actor, filing would probably be my dream job.
Copy that.
Taking a
Ooh.
stack of files that are out of order and putting them back in order,
Bringing order,
and putting
okay.
them in bins.
Yeah.
Very good at it.
Okay.
I do
Nice.
enjoy
I
it.
can believe it.
And I'm 19 and I am slowly, pain is rising in my side and I'm slowly being bent over until I can't stand up straight.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why is it always like you have to wait for near rupture to get the? Can't we ever be proactive with it? Like they say it's just.
Some sort of like warning sign before that.
To be fair, I was at the doctor that afternoon.
You were.
Yeah, he was a large doctor, Santa Claus looking character with very large fingers. And I don't know if you know how they check to see if you have appendicitis.
I do not. I did not know this. I thought this was just prostate.
But it's also he went in a few times. And Sterling and I were talking before the podcast that I deal when I'm in the hospital.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it next
talk-
episode,
yes.
but I'm very funny because I'm so nervous. And so I was in my bed yelling out to the nurses like, hey, I'm an Eagle Scout. So if you give me a scalpel, I'll take this thing out. Like, we don't need to do surgery. I could figure this out. Because just don't let that doctor come back in here
With the giant hands.
with the giant fingers. Anyways, huge sidebar. So Kate has appendicitis.
Okay. Kate.
Kate has, and I feel like, why do these things always happen on a holiday, right?
Yeah.
Children, pets, like anything that is going to go catastrophically wrong for some reason has to
Murphy's
happen.
Law. Good.
Yeah, like over a holiday break where things are crowded, crazy. It's just like the worst possible timing.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So Christmas Eve, they're in the hospital.
Christmas Eve, they're
She's
in
getting
the
her
hospital.
appendix out.
She's getting her appendix out. And you see sort of like, there's a couple of moments that pop out in my head is sort of Kev's care and love for his sister.
Yeah, their connection.
Their connection.
He's like literally
just
walking,
folding
holding her hand
and
while
just
she's on
like
the
not
gurney.
letting her go, right? You see Randall talking to mom, being like, oh, yeah, this is bad. And then listen, what I like about Randall and Lonnie is Randall is just his listening. Like, nothing sort of gets by him, right? He takes
He's
it
an
all
observer,
in.
yeah.
He's an observer. But the thing that we don't expect in this episode is that we have a Dr. K reunion.
Yeah.
Dr. K is in the hospital. He was in a car accident.
Yes.
Right? He's got internal bleeding. Things are not looking good for him. And his family's unable to make it to join him because of weather conditions. I can't remember what the
I
reason
believe
was.
so. I believe it's weather
Something like
conditions.
that. And the Pearsons are like, all right, well, we're going to be your family today.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful, like...
And Jack gives him pretty much the same speech he gave him when the babies were being born. It was just like, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to hear it. You're going to be fine.
It's Jack's go-to.
Yeah.
he believes in emphasizing the sunny side of things, which I'm not mad at all whatsoever.
And I love the full circledness of Dr. K being there for their scariest, most vulnerable moment, and for them to be able to provide comfort for him in this potentially what could be the end for him. Felt really beautiful and synchronistic.
It's beautiful. Randall goes to get a snow globe for him. He's like, I hear you're the man that's responsible for me, being in his family, so I just wanted you to have a gift on Christmas or whatnot. And he goes like, I was already pointing a family in the direction that they already wanted to go. It was just super duper
Spent his own money.
And beautiful.
Spent his own money.
Because Randall's a saver.
And reinstated the meaning of Christmas.
There you go. So that was the first one that we saw, and then we come back to it towards the end. So this is, I think my smile comes from, number one, Ron, the director.
Oh, genius.
This guy slays this shit.
He really does.
He absolutely slays. Anytime he's
Yeah.
on the show, I was like, dude, you're a freaking beast.
Yeah. Yeah,
he has directed theater before, or at least has been directed in theater before.
By someone like that character.
Because he says something to the effect of like, I thought this was going to be just like the worst, the vanity project, the sitcom. And it turns out that you guys actually have a lot of heart. I think we're going to be okay. And Kevin's like, there's more? Oh, there's more. And they hug each other, and it's so sweet. And something positive is coming. She told her family that she was dating the Manny.
Yes.
Right? And he's like, well, actually, I got to go to my brother's house. This is what I do. She's like, dude, you owe me at least this much, right? So he goes and celebrates Hanukkah with Sloan. And you see Kevin sort of be charmed by Sloan in her telling of the Hanukkah story. Right? Which, by the way, Melania, she kind of slays it.
Melania Weintraub brings it in this.
She is absolutely wonderful and adorable.
So winning, so charming.
Why she sells so many phones.
You can see why Kevin was charmed by her as well. It was like, wow.
And her family was hilarious. I actually feel like it was an opportunity for Dan, who is Jewish, in the midst of our Christmas story, to be like, you know what? We put a little bit of something of my stuff in this joint too.
That's right.
So it all goes together, right? In the sauce. And he's like, you know what? We should do this. Like, people think that I'm not a serious actor. They don't think you're a serious playwright. She's like, who doesn't think that? Her mom's like, I don't. My sister's like, I don't. Whatever. It's like, forget what other people think. Let's go ahead and do this ourselves. Completely charming, completely beautiful. Love it, right? Then we go to Kate. Is there anything else? Anything else from the Kevin?
That was it.
No, it's just it's interesting. It's interesting to watch because if this show deals in addiction, right. If it deals in anxiety, if it deals in alcoholism, there's something about Kevin's character that is a bit of a love addict.
Oh, for sure.
Like he cannot, like an official, cannot be alone. Doesn't like to be alone.
Yeah.
Even in his description of why he's doing it, there's a compulsion
that's good.
to relate or to couple or to save or to whatever the thing is. But it's kind of the first time you see him it's weird to me because when I see this unfold, it's like he phrases it incorrectly and he doesn't understand what's going on. But it is actually what he should be doing. He should be trying to partner with somebody who he's not fully attracted to.
Sure.
Because when he goes after somebody's fully attracted, it's dysfunctional. And it's
But that's in 111. We get to that more specifically.
Right. Sorry. See, I tell you, I watch them back to back and I'm like,
same. It's hard.
I'm with you.
Anyways.
I'm totally with you.
It plays out.
It
plays out.
Let's talk about Kate, who, with her mom, goes to consult for the gastric bypass. And this is, as I'm listening to all of the possible side effects that could come, I find myself being like, oh man, I didn't realize. It's like every time you go in for surgery or whatnot, and you have to sign away this thing that if you die.
There are potential complications.
There's potential complications. And it was so interesting to see. Sidebar. I was talking to my wife about Mandy Moore and her portrayal of Rebecca Pearson. I said, Ryan, I'm just sitting here watching this show. I said, Mandy Moore's a killer. Like, she's a killer. And she goes, yeah, she's a killer. And I would say, I was like, why do you think do you think because she started off in music that people don't see her as a killer in this particular form in the same way? She's like, no. She makes it look too easy.
Oh, guys, that's
And I was like,
very kind.
I was like, Ryan, she's playing 60-something. Yeah, but she does it so effortlessly that people think that like
people
anybody
forget
can
that
just
there's
do it.
a 30-year-old in there.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You guys.
So I'm just saying.
Do you want to leave? Do you need to leave so that we can continue? Because we have things to talk about.
To my on-screen mom, who's 8 years younger than me, you can kill her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Guys.
Yeah.
That's very
Welcome.
kind.
So as I'm sitting here watching it, and like, it's so like, it perfectly encapsulates. I catch myself as a parent with my children. Like, there's sometimes I just can't help but say something.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not doing anything
yeah.
what I think is right or wrong. I just want to, like, there's more information to be had. Let me help get the information, because my kid tends to sit back a little bit, but I can be like, oh, I need to ask this question. Yeah. And that's exactly, you're just getting all the information can get. Not clocking that she's like, can I do this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sort of like annoyed. But like, I think it's just kids are annoyed by parents. Once you guys probably, they're not old enough yet to be
they're
that.
old enough.
I'm not quite there.
Are you asking if they're old enough to be annoying?
If
Annoyed
they're
by you.
Annoyed by you.
Oh,
Not
no,
yet.
he's old enough yet to be annoyed by me.
Really?
Yeah. Especially if I, like, you know, the positions shift, but if I've swung into like the boundary position,
Yeah.
for too long, where last night at bedtime he was just like, he took on a character, like he like all of a sudden like took on a posture that he hasn't taken on before, and I don't know where it came from, but he was like, Dad, just go.
What?
Just go. He's 3.5. He's
Like done. He was done for the night.
You just go. Because I was like trying to like stick to the bedtime routine. And, and so I was like, you know what? Okay.
He knows what he wants.
Yeah. I'll see you later.
He's there.
Good night, buddy. I love you.
He's there.
Anyways.
Yeah, it happens more when
As
they
the
get
older
even
they
older,
get.
right? And so just sort of watching that dynamic between the two of you. And please feel free to comment on anything that you think of, because what really hit me is when we got to that moment in the car.
Yeah.
Did I do this? Like, and you ask in such sincerity, like I didn't know when not to talk about the food or how much to bring the food up or to not bring it up. Like I was constantly trying to figure out what was right and what was wrong.
Because we also got the Prozac information.
We got the Prozac information because we didn't know that she was dealing with depression and whatnot. Like,
And
Prozac.
Mom didn't either.
They had no idea. And then like her response was about the most honest. I don't know. Did I do this? I don't know. And that's you just got to sit with that joint for a sec, man, because we're all now these parents, and we're probably going to send them to therapy for something, and just wondering what it is that
What
they're
it's going to be
going there for, you know, because there's no getting it right. There's getting it the best that you can.
Yeah.
The best that you can. I think about it. I look at him. I'm like, all right. Like I know, like. Ryan and I will argue from time to time. And like you said before, hopefully I also get a chance to witness the repair.
Yeah.
Argument's going to happen. The repair's going to happen, right? I talk to my kids about food all the time. But Ryan and I did on our podcast this whole thing about diet culture. And especially in Hollywood, I think the emphasis is so much on thinness being equated with health that I would like to debunk here and now. Like different body types show up in different ways and can be healthy.
Healthy, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And however that manifests, and just wanting them to be healthy, right? And I think about like, Ryan and I will go, our kids have never had General Mills cereal.
Sure.
Right.
I had nothing but General Mills cereal. Yeah. I guess they're not going to be a sponsor.
Reese's peanut butter puffs?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For breakfast?
Used to kill them.
Yeah.
I went,
the Crunch.
Captain Crunch
I went to the roof of my mouth.
was bleeding.
Was raw.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so you do these things to try to introduce them to, you know, healthier options or whatnot. And there's still, it's going to be something that comes up later on. You know what I'm saying? So like it was a moment of real empathy from parent to parent.
Yeah.
Being like, man, you did, like, I see you trying to do it the right way. And even in that, like, you feel responsible for an outcome that I don't know.
And before becoming a parent, I remember thinking about this scene and rolling my eyes like I love my mom, but I'm like, oh, this reminds me of my own mom who just like inserts herself into things and like, and now being a parent, obviously I have a completely different perspective and I'm just like, of course she wants to be there. Of course she wants to hold her hand. Of course she's concerned. Like that never goes away.
No.
So I've had a real perspective shift since we filmed this episode.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
and maybe maybe Sterling, you can tell us if there's a shift that has to happen, because there has to be a shift at some point, right? That goes from keeping them alive, to letting them live. You know what I mean? Like
wow.
And how do you do that? And how do you
transition? Like when is that transition?
I was trying to explain to a friend of mine, like, there's a reason why I need my son to listen to me.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
Not sometimes, and sometimes it's for dumb things that he doesn't really have to do.
Sure.
But if I ask him to do them, I need him to listen, because I don't have the time when it matters.
Yeah, man.
When his safety is
at stake.
To explain which is which.
Yeah.
I just need you to listen to me. So the great profundity of "because I said so" becomes clearer than it ever has before. Now there essentially becomes a time where I'm going to have to transition out of that.
Yeah.
And people are going to have to learn from
their own mistakes.
Mistakes and consequences of their mistakes, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you have to touch the fire.
I don't know, and maybe that's the sign of successful parenting, is to make that transition fully or to make it in a healthy way. More That Was Us after these words from our sponsors.
Gang, it's okay to admit when you need a professional to talk to. And that's why we're proud to partner with Talkspace. Fans all over the world have been calling us, leaving messages, and we've spoken to some during our fan segments through the emotional support hotline. But if you're looking for the right therapist, Talkspace is there to help.
And when we say they're there, they really are always there. With easy-to-join virtual sessions and the ability to text your therapist between appointments to share important information in real time, I'm telling you, it's never been easier to get professional help in your daily life.
Therapy has played a huge part in my life. I've dabbled in all of it. Individual therapy, couples therapy, trauma therapy, you name it.
All the therapy.
All the therapies.
It has brought me into the present moment in a way that I cannot explain.
I look at it as better out than in. I feel like so many of us hold things on the inside and just try to deal and soldier through. You don't have to do it by yourself.
No.
Yeah.
There are professionals there to help you.
Amen.
This Is Us, as a show, shared a lot of stories, not just about individuals, but couples and families who all could use a little bit of help. Talkspace thinks the same way. They've got sessions available for individuals, couples, the LGBTQIA plus community, veterans, teens, going through life as a teen. I mean, they have sessions for anybody who is looking for help.
And plus, it's affordable, with many employers and insurance plans working with Talkspace to make the service accessible. Talkspace insured members pay a copay of $30 or less, so you don't have to deal with the financial stress of getting help.
As a listener of this podcast, you will get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/TWU and enter the promo code SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/TWU and enter promo code SPACE80 to get $80 off your first month and to show your support for our show. That's Talkspace.com/TWU, promo code SPACE80.
Listen, I can remember one of our favorite trips is when we have Thanksgiving. And you got a lot of family coming in from out of town, from different parts of the country, and you're all trying to find a central, localized place to kick it. You don't necessarily want to be spread out through a hotel. You find yourself an Airbnb. You get your own crib for your own family, all to yourselves. Bada bing, bada boom. You're done.
It would be so nice to be able to travel somewhere that has a kitchen, that has laundry. You don't feel like a potentially screaming child is going to disturb hotel guests, so Airbnb is always the preferred way to travel.
Did you know that right now, right this very minute, you could be listening to this podcast in a house or a space that would make someone go, wow, this is a perfect Airbnb.
While you're away, your home could be an Airbnb. What better way to earn a little extra money or offset some of your other travel expenses? I'm traveling all around the country this year, and it would be great to have a little guilt-free travel money for my fun trips.
When you're on the go a lot or even just have a single trip planned this summer and looking to get the most out of your trip or your unused space, hosting is a great choice to make for you and your family. It's never been easier to get started hosting, and Airbnb is with you every step of the way.
Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
I'll say this. I think my mom was pretty good at this, to be honest, because I think the trap is always seeing them as that thing that first manifested in your life.
Right.
And not allowing them to mature into who they are now.
Sure.
So always just trying to relate to them where they are in that particular moment. I see with my oldest son, he sort of demands it.
Yeah.
Which I give him all the credit in the world for.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like, oh, you're my little boy and everything's like, no, dude, I'm about to be 13 at the end of the month. Like, you gotta, can I have my phone? Yes, you may. There's rules to the phone. If you violate those rules, you know, they go away.
Sure.
So he'll violate the rule, the phone goes away. And he's like, I had that coming because I messed up, right? At a certain point in time, I want to be able to earn my way back into your good graces. I was like, if and when you do that, then you will get this back, right? So he's actually pretty mature in that way and insisting on that you deal with me where I am right now.
Mm.
Right.
I think that's what it is. You know how it is sometimes when you go home, and we all, to a certain extent, maybe you guys don't, fall into like a role that you played when you lived in that house.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Because it feels familiar and
everybody
comfortable and that sort of thing. So like we kind of play a part in it too, to a certain extent.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of nice to be at home and it's kind of nice to be Kelvy and like,
Yeah.
Kel, what you doing?
Yeah.
And so like we play a part in it too. But it's also because it feels familiar and comfortable.
Right.
And so I guess you kind of got to take the kids' lead to a certain extent of like when they want to be sort of like, when 16-year-old Sterling wants to get into the shopping cart and be pushed around by his mom.
Right.
Which is fun. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you're in the store like at 9 o'clock at night and nobody else is there. And she's pushing you around and you're just happy as the lamb. And the times when you're like, Mom, I need you to deal with me like where
on
I
the
am
level.
right now.
Yeah.
And so I guess the difference, the real question then becomes, like, you two have already had an interaction like this where you come to the door and you talk about you knowing about
Yes.
your biological father.
Yeah.
And there's like this, it's really like a moment of growth for Rebecca, even
Yes.
at however old she is at that point. And this question is also an interest. Did I do this? Okay, well, why are you asking? Are you asking for forgiveness? Are you asking for absolution? Are you? And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
are you asking so that you can take responsibility for those things? Like, it's such an interesting. It's a pivotal moment for an adult and a parent.
My takeaway from it when we were filming it, at least, was sort of like, this is such a taboo conversation and not something that she fundamentally feels comfortable talking about with her mom. I'm sure with Kevin, maybe with Randall, like she's been a little bit more open about this part of her life and this and who she is and what she wants to change. But I feel like it's kept from mom a lot. So just the simple fact that she wanted me at that appointment allowed me the space to ask that question that I probably had never asked before, because it is such a profound, earth-shattering question.
It felt to me, Mandy, like, if this is my fault, allow me to apologize.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think Rebecca has any problems. Like, if indeed I did something wrong, let me know. And I can tell you I'm sorry.
Yeah, I could take accountability. Because here we are now at this juncture where you are considering major surgery with all of those complications. Like, it's terrifying as a parent to think about that, of your child's life in peril. And that you played a part maybe at them arriving to this place, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Especially to watch your kids struggle in all the different ways that they do or will, addiction or breakups, divorce, whatever the thing is. Like you pointed out, the most profound part of this conversation is her response, which is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really leave you anywhere.
No.
It doesn't.
No. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we go to William and
Yes.
Jess? Okay.
Yes.
Every time I see him, I well up.
Yeah. When you see Ron on
I'm just
camera?
like, oh, yeah.
He's
It's like
beautiful.
being visited.
He's beautiful.
It is like being visited.
Yeah. It's
He
like,
has this aura around him. But it's always there. It's not just there because we see it in hindsight. It's like he just is so special. He has this it's why people I think loved that character so much. Everything he brought to him.
and I think I'm remembering the feeling of seeing him in real life felt like being visited by a wiser being.
Yeah.
A wise old owl.
A Pixar,
just by a spiritual entity.
Yeah.
Like, and to be reminded, every time I see him, I'm just reminded of that feeling.
So before this episode happens, I'm reminded of a conversation that Fogelman had with me when I was on set. And he's like, so I got this crazy idea. And he goes, I think your dad is going to wind up being bisexual. Do you think he'll have a problem with that? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, probably ask him. He's like, he's an actor, so he's probably pretty cool with it. He's like, because Dan, his cheeks get all red and he gets all giddy because he's got an idea. He's like, I think we're gonna make William bisexual. Like, what do you think he's gonna be okay? I was like, should be. Go talk to him.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, man, what are you talking about? I do that.
Yeah.
So there they are in NA, and he's telling a story about a monkey. That he encounters on the street like at 3:30 in the morning. And the crux of it, because it's in a very sort of circular way, is like, why am I up at 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Like, what positive is supposed to be happening right now? And he's like, oh. And he's like, is this a monkey? Like, it's almost like I'm high. Is this a freaking monkey? Oh, I should not be high anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a moment of clarity. And then he decided to turn his life around, get clarity. He reconnected with his son and sort of says that he gets to go home and spend Christmas with them and celebrate in that way. And he doesn't have many Christmases left. He's also aware that he's dying. He lets everybody know, but he's happy that he's at this place in his life, right? So then after he speaks, we hear from this dude, Jesse, from the first time, played by Dennis O'Hare. And Jesse talks about how he had love in his life. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it went away, or the object of the love did not go away. This was really well penned.
Yeah.
By the way, he kind of killed this shit, right? And all of a sudden he just disappeared, and he was left wondering what had happened to him. And you see William in the foreground, just like, oh man, and Jesse telling his story, and you realize, we as an audience, we're like, oh my goodness.
William's the object of his affection.
William's the object of his love. And so at the end of that section, the two of them come together, and he's like, I didn't know how to tell you. I knew that I was dying. I didn't want to burden you with that. And he goes, well, are you dying like this instant? And he's like, no. And he's like, are you dying tomorrow? Not that I can tell.
Yeah.
He said, well, I love you, and I would like to spend whatever little time that you have together. Mm-hmm. Is that okay with you?
So beautiful.
There was something else about this sequence of events that I found I maybe didn't notice the first time through, but throughout this whole episode, a bunch of Jesus stuff. We're going to church. Also in that story, he talks about a higher power.
Yeah.
And it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like the first time in our show that God is discussed.
Probably in my mind, the first time that God is discussed is 105 with the painting. In my mind,
sure.
But yes,
the universe, another entity
almost in not in a spiritual, but in a religious way,
right?
And to have this character, William, be the one who talks about a higher power in his life, who it's literally put into the character of an ex-junkie.
Yeah. And
then minutes later, at least a bisexual ex-junkie is kind of an incredible network television discussion.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of like, this was on NBC.
Bong, bong, bong. I think Dan, in his infinite wells of humanity, knows how easily certain people can be dismissed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he puts in the mouths of people who are oftentimes dismissed by society profound truths and revelations and like wisdom. Whether it's Kevin and sort of like being the handsome sort of like actor who's supposed to be vapid or whatever have you, or someone who's supposed to sort of occupy the fringes of society like William or whatnot, and giving them a depth and sort of richness that makes you say like, I should not dismiss anybody.
Anyone ever.
And if I see myself in this show and I relate to this man in this way, now I see myself in this man.
Bam. Okay, so now there's Randall and Beth. And I tell you, like, real quick sidebar, most of my career, I always have to play someone who's like the heavy, who's very much in charge and like, you know, rock solid. I'm always Oberon or Orsino, or I'm like, in Shakespeare times, I'm like that dude. I never get to be like one of the lovers or anything because you have presence or whatever it is, right? So I say all that to say, like, we sort of open our section with like a bit about a boat. Like, it's Beth and Randall. And it made me laugh so much. Yeah. And because I think Sue, being the gorgeous human being that she is, who is so funny, doesn't always get a chance to flex that funny bone.
She's so funny.
She's so damn funny. Yeah. And the two of us get a chance to do this thing, and it was, I just smile from ear to ear.
Yeah.
Because it's also sort of a bit of a respite from the heaviness of what just happened in the NA. So she's like, you need to get the money back for this boat. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
It's funny. I'm like, Randall's a boatman? Like, that was a revelation to me as well. I was like,
there's some
curveballs. The South Carolina curveball later.
There's another one that we didn't, that's in this episode. It's a small one. Our kids are staying with her sister.
Yeah.
We never meet Beth's sister.
Ever?
You never meet Rebecca's sister either. They're just like
every once in a while
mentioned and then forgotten about.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Toby has a sister too. I'm serious. I think,
Toby does?
Yeah.
Toby definitely has a younger brother. I remember you making mention of him.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yes. To be continued.
A sibling.
So here's an interesting, like, little tidbit. I don't know if I ever talked about this, but it was deeply profound. So Jimmy Simpson plays in this episode. He plays the guy, Andy, who I bought the boat from.
Incredible actor.
Yeah.
Incredible actor. I met Jimmy Simpson in summer of 1999 at the Williamstown Theater Festival.
Oh, wow.
Him, Charlie Day, a bunch of other people, right? Good buddies. So a friend of mine, one of my best friends from undergrad, died the summer of 99, 1 year after I graduated from undergrad. His name is Andrew. His name is the namesake for my firstborn child.
Whoa.
He, in the obituary, either fell, jumped, or pushed from like several stories high on his office building where he worked, right? And so I'm reading this episode, and I'm talking to this dude named Andy, who is about to commit suicide.
What?
And I was like, it was one of those moments of like spirit. I was like, God, is this, what's happening? So friends of mine called me after the episode.
I had no idea, Sterling. I had no idea.
Called me after the episode, and they're like, did you put this? I was like, no.
Wow.
They were like, did you ask for the name? I was like, nope, but I didn't change it.
Wow.
So as this scene is happening or whatnot, like there's this sort of weird thing about like if I had been versus like now I am here to do this thing.
Wow.
Like it's
Jeez, man.
So and so the summer that I met Jimmy Simpson is also the summer that my friend Andrew passed away.
Wow.
Whoa.
Did you ever share that with Jimmy?
No.
Wow.
No, I think this is the first time I ever like talked about it. Like
I had no idea. I just remember, I mean, not to speak out of turn here, but I remember that there was a lot of moving parts with this particular episode.
Yeah.
And there was something about the script like being altered and changed last minute in your section, in particular, this whole scene with Jimmy and people having to relearn lines and all of that. So I just assumed that like, oh my gosh, so on top of the burden of like that shift happening, you had to bring all of your collective like real life experience. Like, whoa, Sterling.
It was
heavy.
The latter part of what you're talking about is the scene got rewritten like a day and a half before. And, you know, we try to be good students and get it all under things or whatnot, but like they hadn't gotten Jimmy attached to it yet. So Jimmy had some ideas about how it could change or whatnot, and they're like, cool. So then they changed the script. So Fogelman, he sees me, he's like, hey, let me talk to you for a second. because I was like, dude, I just have to like memorize everything over again. Sidebar for SKB real quick. I memorized fairly quickly, but I also put in a lot of time to it or whatnot. This was the first time that I was anxious about memorizing lines and having enough time to do it.
Because it's a whole act.
It's a whole act.
Yeah.
You know, it was like 7-8 pages, whatever. So like I don't smoke a lot, but I have like a joint in my closet of my old house that I've had for like 2 years that I'll take like puff, and then I put the joint back. I was like, I think I'm gonna need this joint. So I took like a couple of puffs of the joint, and then I go into my garage and I just hammer it out.
Yeah.
I hammer it out, and I got to where I needed to be. And then I go and I see the writers the next day. I was like, I had to, memorize the lines and everything. Dan's like, come, let me talk to you. He's like, do you want me to change it back? Because I'll change it back in a heartbeat. Like, I'm sorry if this happened to you, and da-da-da. I'm like, no. And like, it was the first time I saw Dan sort of be like upset.
Yeah.
I was like, it's okay. I got it.
Yeah.
We're going to make this thing work. And he's like, okay. I was like, all right. But shooting it was sort of, I got to release something, in a way. Like similar to, as we get further on down the road, the William and Randall storyline and the parallels between my own life or what have you. Like, it's like God put this TV show in my life for a reason. I'm not saying like it's all therapy and whatnot, but like there's things that were very close to the surface and were easily accessed, right? Because when I'm watching it, like you said, I cry. Like when I saw myself be like, no. I was like, I had like anxiety.
Oh, for sure.
So I looked away like I got distracted by something. And then when I heard your reaction, I looked back at the TV and I saw you looking over the edge. And I turned to Rachel, I'm like, did he jump? I forgot how the scene ended.
Yeah.
I was like, your reaction to it. I was like, wait, no, he didn't. On our show, he didn't actually jump, did he? And then they show him walking away, and I was like, holy shit.
Dude. It was such a perfect moment because there was also my black wife walking in and me being like, hey, don't come no further. She's like, you don't tell me what to do. I'm like, no, don't.
Yeah. You don't understand what you're walking into.
Don't tell me I don't understand.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more That Was Us. Ah, the sounds of summer. The music from the ice cream truck 3 blocks away, calling you to grab cash and race to the corner. The sizzling on the barbecue grill, fireworks crackling in the night sky, and ripping open a new packet of Liquid IV to get that sweet taste of summer in your water. Look, it could be grape, it could be lemon lime, it doesn't matter. Whatever your favorite flavor of ice cream or candy is, Liquid IV has your back.
My favorite summer treats? I'm not going to lie, I probably have a popsicle a day in the summer, like an orange cream popsicle, non-dairy, of course. My favorite flavors of Liquid IV have kind of shifted. I started out in the passion fruit area, and now summertime comes around and I'm really digging strawberry and watermelon.
I love a summer treat. I love ice cream. I love lemonade. Some of my favorite Liquid IV flavors, gosh, I think I'm pretty partial to the lemon lime, and I love the sugar-free green grape as well.
The heat of summer is here, and your favorite summer treat could be giving you extraordinary hydration. Liquid IV has refreshing summer flavors like popsicle firecracker and rainbow sherbet that hit the spot when you need transformative hydrating relief all summer long.
Indulge in hydration with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, Liquid IV. Find all your favorite flavors on their website, from acai berry and lemon lime to pina colada, or grab some of their sugar-free flavors like raspberry melon, white peach, and green grape.
Indulge in hydration this summer with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code TWU at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code TWU at liquidiv.com.
Hey friends, as someone who enjoys watching everything at home and being caught up on the latest and greatest TV, shows, and movies, I can honestly say that I forget about half of the services I have signed up for. Fortunately, our new sponsor, Rocket Money, helps with that.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm always finding subscriptions that I forgot about that I've been paying for years, that some sort of streaming network that I signed up for to watch a movie or a TV show, and years later I'm still paying for it and I've never used it again.
I signed up, I went in, and I found, I would say like a dozen subscriptions that I had forgotten about that were just being auto-charged to my accounts, including, and this was crazy to me, I don't know how this happened, duplicate accounts. I was paying twice for some things, and Rocket Money went through all of my bills, sorted them out, and I could get those things out of there and get them off my bill and save a ton of money.
Most Americans think they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions. But, get this, the real number is closer to $300. Rocket Money is the modern-day version of change in the couch cushions, except it's $300 per month.
That is literally thousands of dollars a year. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
Here are the stats. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features.
Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/TWU. That's rocketmoney.com/TWU. rocketmoney.com/TWU.
He walks away. He tells him that, like, you don't have a monopoly on pain. Everybody has to go through something. Mm-hmm. But the story doesn't have to end here.
Right.
Wherever you are right now, you get a chance to write a new ending, but you have to keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is the thesis of our show.
It's the thesis of our show, right? So that's the end of that section. We go home. We pick up our daughters from my wife's sister. And
who will call
Claudine.
Claudine's house.
And we're prepared for a quiet Christmas because everybody can't make it. And then slowly but surely, everybody trickles in.
Yeah.
And it's such a warm feeling.
Beautiful montage, Christmas montage, with a Sufjan Stevens song to boot.
Song's great.
Yeah.
Song is great. And so so first time us seeing each other since the end of 109.
Yep.
Seeing 109. And like after that moment, like it sort of made sense. Like I didn't say anything directly to you or whatnot, but I was like, oh, life's too short. Like I gotta let it go.
Yeah.
I was like, let me take your coat. Come on in. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lovely moment where we're naming the reindeer. I was like, I bet your grandma knows and whatnot. And and we improv that. Like that wasn't in the script, was it?
It wasn't.
But they just left it in there. And I was like, oh, they left it in. It's so cute.
I love a montage.
I love a montage. Yeah. Justin throwing popcorn into my mouth. Mm-hmm. And you come in, before the montage. Before the montage, you come in.
I'm part of the montage, yeah.
Part of the montage.
But yeah, Toby arrives, the big grand gesture of a surprise.
You guys have been working this up for like 8 days.
I'm going to say two things. I said, because I wrote in my notes, I said, and Toby comes, and then later I wrote twice. And so, you make a grand gesture. It's like, they're like, my kids are like, I think Santa Claus is here. Sure does look like it. You got the hat on and everything.
Yeah.
And you tell her how much you love, and you sit in the middle seat. Yeah. And you have a lot of time to sort of craft what you think and know. Yeah. And so a beautiful sort of reunion transpires. And listen, I as speaking on Randall's behalf, I don't know how I feel about y'all knocking boots in the crib.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Again. Again, it's distasteful at best. Romantic.
You did it, but you do a great job of threading the needle of like post-coital exhaustion and like, I don't know if that brother right. Like
yeah, something's amiss.
Yeah. Something may not be 100%.
I get that from that was me. That wasn't acting. That's just
that was just a choice.
That's just this is how it looks. How does it look for you? Wait a minute. You don't look like you're about to have a heart attack?
I could go into it on another
Maybe
podcast.
You're doing it wrong.
I don't
want to put judgment.
That's not quite the one.
If you don't look like you're going to have a heart attack, Sterling, maybe try a little harder? I don't know.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
So wait, now this is an important tidbit.
No.
Because as everything, all the merriment is transpiring, people are getting along.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do one real quick because I think this is how it happens sequentially. Randall's checking out William and Jesse kicking it with each other, and his daughter comes up to him and is like, I think Grandpa may be like my friend from school who's got the two dads. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, Grandpa's gay, Dad. Or at least he's bi.
Yeah.
And she strolls off. I'm like, what? Like did I miss something? So it was really like, and that goes into the next episode. So we'll talk about that later. But then everybody's chilling, kicking it, and all of a sudden, Tobias gets up on his feet, and there we go into what are the frames per second when we go into the slow-mo thing?
48.
48, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Goes to 48 frame. And you just like go right over the top.
But it's like the knee buckle, then the fall.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
I'm now remembering why it was so shocking to me, because you guys have been working on this episode for a long time. And then this is my one day of shooting.
That's true.
And I come in.
You
and
realize this was our first time all being together like that with everybody.
Except for Jack.
Yes.
For Jack. Right.
But everybody was there at the same time.
Yeah.
And Helen Hunt.
And Helen Hunt.
Have you ever seen anyone how someone has a heart attack?
Here's 3 examples on YouTube.
And it was all like CCTV footage from YouTube of people like at a counter, like obviously it's not funny. I mean,
It is when you meet somebody for the first time and that's what they greet you with.
It's as serious as a heart attack.
Listen, it's funny because Helen Hunt, who's one of the best actors in the world, she's so serious. She is
very serious.
so serious. So it makes sense that she would come up to you.
I mean, all respect. The job of a guest director on a television show is got to be the most terrifying. Even if you've been doing it
you're
forever,
coming into somebody else's
You're coming into someone else's house, and they're like, "Hey, good luck making a show that already has is a hit."
Yeah.
And fitting yourself in, and just that's why. Hey, have you ever seen anyone have a heart attack?
It's like you have to be as over-prepared as possible.
Yeah.
Here's the other part. You are not a series regular.
Right. So this is what we've talked about before. It's like, I've gotten this script, and at the end of this episode, Toby has a heart attack it says right there, falls over the car, through the coffee table.
Yeah.
And the questions begin. Because we do actually go to a Christmas break.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
do.
had off for
we have
like
6 weeks off.
Yeah.
6
Like we
weeks
leave people
off
hanging right there.
of just people on Twitter being like,
WTH.
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Did you have questions?
Did you? What,
No, I
Or
think
because you knew
by this-
going into
when
111.
when I got the script, I was like, ugh. And then, but then I saw that I was in 111, and I was like, okay, all right, we're all
He
right.
survived.
Did you ever
Spoiler
have the
alert.
conversation with Dan? Is like, am I still just episode to episode? Is there? Did you know that it would be more concrete before the season was done?
Again, my naivete in season 1, I didn't know what conversations to have, who not to talk to, what not to talk
what
about.
you're allowed to ask.
So I was just like, show up, talk to Helen Hunt, and fall over this
Do
table.
you know? You've been seeing a heart attack.
And if you haven't ever seen anyone have a heart attack, it's exactly what it looks like.
There you go.
I nailed it.
And this episode also rounds out in that montage with Kate being okay. She comes out of her appendectomy. She's fine, as well as Dr. K.
Yeah.
He wakes up and sees that the Pearsons are in his hospital room, there to help him usher in his next chapter, but also the holiday. And it's very sweet. It's like, okay, he lives to fight another day. Kate is okay. And this sort of mantra that I think gets carried through Christmases down the line for the Pearsons, this idea of like nothing bad ever happens on Christmas. That theme sort of comes up again in later seasons and stuff. So
And Toby
it's
is
referenced.
left. Is the last shot him on the operating table? What's
Yeah.
the very last shot?
Yes.
I think so.
with the heart monitor beeping.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
we're all left to. Do you guys remember? I mean, this is a real sidebar as well. We went to our first award show shortly after, like days after this episode aired. We went to the
Choice or
Critics'
something?
Choice Awards.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that I had ever been a part of something that, like, you're in a sea of people that are movie stars and TV stars and regular folks who were just there to like attend the award show.
Yeah.
And we all, like, there were so many people coming up to us talking about the show.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time that I was sort of like, oh, we are a part of something that people are watching and talking about and curious about, because we were also just in our little bubble of like, you're going to work and just like chugging along every day. And sure, you'd go out in the world and stuff, but like, you know, we live in Los Angeles. People are pretty like blasé about like this sort of stuff, about the business.
Sure.
Right? And I just remember this exact moment because this episode had aired and people were, I was with you, I was with Chrissy and Sue, and people were coming up to you specifically like, what's going to happen? Like everybody, it was being a part of like a water cooler moment, which it was very, very new.
It's pretty cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I don't know how many more shows will get that sort of thing.
A network television show.
Where
for those first few seasons.
Yeah.
Where you're not streaming, right? So you're not just like people binging and watching something like all at once. Like there was an event idea around it, and watching it on Tuesdays and being able to like, I mean, it just, was a different time. You're right. I'm not sure there will be anything quite like that again.
And the idea that like, as I can remember, and we'll wrap this up. I can remember doing OJ and being like, oh, dude, like, I get to do some prestige television.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah.
And I remember reading This Is Us, and I was like, oh, this show is so good. And I was like, it's going to be on network, so it's not going to get the same sort of prestige, whatnot, consideration. But like, it's good.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters, right? And then it turned out to be good. And it wound up catching the zeitgeist. And the fact that we got invited to those places
as well
was the most unanticipated part of
Emmys,
it all.
Golden Globes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Critics' Choice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
When you're telling a 42-minute story alongside dragons.
Talk to me, bro.
The confines of network television versus what
the
freedom that everybody else had is, it's pretty remarkable to be in that same conversation.
Yeah. So this was our Christmas episode. Yeah. It left people feeling all warm and fuzzy on the inside.
Ish.
Yeah. And you said you did not cry.
This was the first episode I did not cry rewatching.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did. I cried. I cried. I absolutely cried. But that's because, again, of this personal thing that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And in terms of the reason for the season, right? What I appreciated about Dan putting in Hanukkah, putting in Christmas, talking about sort of faith, like, but also like the way people showed up, right? Like Christmas is a time in which people show up for each other, right? So like, you can say it's for a particular religious reason or not, but like people showed up.
Yeah.
And what that ending part of us, the family showing up for Dr. K is like, hey, it doesn't matter now. Like we're family. Yeah. We're here.
Yeah.
We got your back. Like that's, maybe it sounds too pat for people, but I kind of dig it. I like seeing people show up. For
me too.
So that's that.
Ring, ring, we are back with another segment of the Emotional Support Hotline presented by Talkspace. Be sure to check your insurance coverage and visit Talkspace.com/TWU to start speaking with a therapist today.
All right. We love, love, love hearing your messages, Sterling. You have someone for us today?
This is Jazel. Let me press this play. Let's see what we got. Come on.
Hi, guys. I just saw the video through Instagram about your podcast and this phone number, and I'm like, I should try it out because it's crazy, amazing, and I'm so excited. Anyways, I've been a huge fan of your show. I watched it all through COVID and through my miscarriage and before the baby, and now I have a 2-year-old, and I'm rewatching the whole thing because it just hits different, and everyone's just so relatable, and I've already watched it, the whole thing, and now I'm rewatching it, and I'm excited to just rewatch it again later. So I talk about it a lot through my friends, and now they're all watching it. It's a beautiful life story lesson, and it's just us. It's just life. So thank you for doing what you do, and I'm excited to watch hear the podcast, watch a video of it. And, thank you. And I miss you guys. And I'm going to watch it again now. Okay, bye. Oh, I forgot to say my name. Jazel, Jazel, from San Diego, California.
Jazel, sweet.
Let's call her.
You know what we should do? Let's call Jazel
back.
Let's do it.
do
I'm
it.
not going to tell you her phone number.
Hello?
Hi, is this Jazel?
It is.
Hi, Jazel. It's Sterling K. Brown.
Chris Sullivan.
Oh, my
Mandy
goodness. Hi.
Moore. Hi, Jazel.
How you doing?
Hi. I'm good. I am watching, of course, This Is Us. And Rebecca just said the word caboose.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's perfect timing.
Really? Wait, so
Yeah.
you were saying in your voicemail that you've watched the show a few times. How many times have you watched the show?
Well, I finished the whole thing, the whole 6 seasons, binge watch it during COVID. And then now I'm just like back to it. And now I'm back to season 6.
Oh,
and I
wow.
am just going to rewatch it again after this. I just can't get enough
Good
of you guys.
gracious.
We love that we've been able to keep you company. Like, what is it about the show for you that feels comfortable? Like that you keep coming
it's a
back
comfort
to it?
watch.
What is it about the show that you keep coming back to? Curious.
I made a whole list. I did my homework.
Okay.
Wow.
No, I think it's bottom line. It's really just the connection. And I'm a Pearson now. I'm just part of your family, whether you like it or not.
I
I'm
love
another
it.
adopted Pearson. I'm so sorry, Randall. You're not the only
It's
adopted.
quite all right.
There's
Ain't no
room.
fun
There's
if the
plenty of
homies
room.
can't have none. Come get some of this Pearson love.
Yes, but it's just seeing yourself and your loved ones and all the characters and the stories and how we're all like just intertwined, just like, Kevin's drawings and paintings. It's life. It's just us.
Is you said you had a baby during the how old is your baby now?
Oh, actually, yes. So she is now 2. She just turned 2 last week.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
Thank you. Motherhood is a trip.
Yeah.
There's
Tell
more
me
there.
about
There's
it.
more there. What's the trip for you?
I watched the whole This Is Us before Parenthood. I watched it after I had my miscarriage, and
Yeah.
I was newlywed, and it was COVID, and I was working 3 jobs. So this is something that's just my me time. And it hits different back then. It's great. But now
Yeah.
that I'm a parent, it's totally a different vibe. It's the parenting and seeing your kids and they grow up and them having kids and how to manage little things like when they get a little heartbreak and all that stuff. So it's, yeah.
Chris and I are in that same boat where, obviously when the show started, we weren't parents. Sterling was. And rewatching the show now and like kind of living the storylines through a completely different lens makes things feel, it is wild how different it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it. And thank you guys for doing this beautiful work because I just can't get enough of it.
Jazel, first of all, I love your name because I ain't never heard it before. It's real cool. Is it a family name? Is it your name? Like, how'd you get your name?
I don't know. So my dad claims that he named me after the music jazz because he loves jazz. And then my mom says that she named me after this girl that she saw on TV named Jazel.
Okay.
So now they're still at it and they're divorced now, but that's not because of my name. But,
They just couldn't agree on who picked the name.
just to claim that. Yeah.
I both of them work for me. It's a cool name. Like, did you get compliments for it all the time? Because it's not one that you hear a lot.
Yeah, I get called different names, different versions of it, which I'm totally fine. And
Wait, how do
high
people? You
school-
said people mess it up? How do they mess it up? What do they call you?
Of course, they call me Giselle at first, Hazel.
That's not right.
Okay.
High school, they go Jizzle because they're immature, But it's all good.
I got you. Sorry, you caught me off guard. I'm too immature to take it. I just went back to high school. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all good.
Thank you. You are a lovely human being. I wanted to because you said it in your voicemail and you said it our condolences on your miscarriage, our congratulations on your baby and your family. So to be able to have gone through not having anybody to having lost somebody to now having somebody is a beautiful thing. And I'm glad we've been able to be with you through that whole journey. So just wanted to say that out loud.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And yeah, it's been lovely. And that's just life, You
Yes,
roll with the
ma'am.
punches. You take the sourest lemon and make it to something with lemonade and
Come on,
add
girl.
tequila to it, maybe.
Yes.
A little tequila never hurt anybody unless you're under 21.
Yeah.
Be
And
careful.
postnatal.
There you go.
Yeah.
Postnatal. We will let you go now, Jazel. Thank you so much for your lovely message.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Jazel.
being a fan. I hope the show is good the third time around.
Yeah, I hope it
it's not
still
the second
hits
time.
the third time around.
You know?
Thank you guys so much.
Wishing
Such
you.
a huge fan of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Jazel.
Thanks for
you.
the
Have a good
beautiful
day.
message. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Jazel.
Jazel.
It's about as sweet as they come, you guys.
I mean, and we are also grateful to Mint Mobile for giving us those unlimited minutes to make those phone calls back
Mint Mobile
so we
be
can
making
chat
it
with
happen.
Jazel.
Absolutely.
I love this emotional support hotline, guys.
The EHS, it's
Oh, we've already abbreviated it.
I like it.
The EHS
EHS.
is something special because, like I said before, it's full circle. We feed them in ways that we don't even know about, and they come and say really kind and wonderful things about our show and the way that it impacted them. Just real quick, there's these moments in time, I don't know if you guys have ever had them, where you question whether or not what you do as an artist is important. And there are moments like these that you go like, oh yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we're like, should I be building airplanes or I don't know,
Somebody should be.
Somebody
Yes.
should be, but not me.
No.
I'm not that dude. But I'm so happy that we get a chance to do what we do, and it does have a real impact
It does.
in the world.
Yeah.
So that's it for this episode of That Was Us. That's it. We'll see you next time. Later.
Bye.
That Was Us is filmed at The Crow and produced by Rabbit Grin Productions and Sarah Wareheim. Music by Taylor Goldsmith and Griffin Goldsmith.